Hello and welcome into our Game 2 pregame show for the World Series. It still doesn't sound right to me. This is the PHNX Diamondback Show. My name is Derek Montia, occasionally known as your mayor of the playoffs. This man next to me, I'm sorry, that was wrong. Let me correct that. I'm the mayor of the motherfucking Yoffs. All right, they gotta get that out. Miss you, Sean. This man, of course, is Patty Plantain, aka the Hot Tag. My partner, Patrick Lyons. Give it to me one time from DNVR. So glad to still have you here. I know me and your wife have very mixed feelings about that sentiment, but of course, when we're here, we're
my wife baseball. Is barricaded under several blankets. It is snowing back in Colorado.
Yeah.
So,
meanwhile, look at these legs. Look at these gams.
Look, someone's got to bring home the bacon.
Yeah.
Someone's got to make the cash.
That's right. And the Diamondbacks need to bring home the bacon definitely here tonight in Game 2 of the World Series. Of course, we have Merrill Kelly on the mound going up against Jordan Montgomery. We'll talk about that preview first. But, of course, Game 1 did happen. There was a loss, but I don't remember it. I don't remember it happening.
Yeah, no.
It happened?
There's a game today. That's the game that's important.
That's all that matters.
Not the one that allegedly took place yesterday.
Memory of a goldfish, right? As they would say on Ted Lasso, of course. Flush it, as Tori Lavello would say, because
also
that's
like a goldfish.
What they have to do. Also flush it like a goldfish, especially when your kid didn't get a chance to see that it died. Paul Sewald, though, definitely needs to flush it. He cannot remember it either because the Snakes are going to need him in this series. He cannot be impacted here, and they need him to close out these games. So they're going to need their entire bullpen, which was exhausted, and we'll get to that obviously here in a little bit. But coming into that at bat, Corey Seager was 0 for 8 in his career against Paul Sewald prior to last night's home run in the ninth inning. So of course, that's when he's going to allow the first hit.
That's baseball. I mean, that's the phrase. That's why they play the game, but that's baseball.
That's why I hate baseball sometimes.
It's wonderful. Yeah, the home run by Corey Seager, game tying, then the Adolis Garcia go-ahead game winner. That's actually the third time in World Series history we've seen a game tying and a go-ahead home run by a team in the same game. It happened with Houston back in 2017. And the Yankees actually did it in 2001 against the Diamondbacks. So 3 times in baseball history, twice the Diamondbacks have been the victim.
Well, we also know about the Diamondbacks also being the victim of a closer giving up a run or a home run in the ninth inning there in a one-run game, and of course losing the game the way that they did. So, but the Rangers had some more historic home runs than that. That wasn't the only home run. Well, that wasn't the only part about last night's game that was
so
historic.
Much history. It's great.
Yeah,
baseball 119th World Series, and yet each and every game, there's something new. There's something that we've never expected or never seen or couldn't have even predicted.
Yeah.
That's what's so wonderful. That's why it doesn't really matter that the superstars are on display. I think the series is going to build momentum. I'm sticking with Diamondbacks in 7, and each game it's going to build more and more momentum, and people are going to realize, man, this is a really good series right out the gate. I mean, first walk-off home run in a game 1 since Kirk Gibson in 1988 off Dennis Eckersley. So that's an all-timer,
that's wild.
Right? And the first just walk-off in general in World Series history since Max Muncy did it in the 16th inning in 2018. And who did he do it off of? The starter for the Rangers last night, Nathan Eovaldi, when he was a member of the Red Sox. Again, that's baseball.
The amount of connections here is incredible. In fact, it's also the first time in MLB postseason history we had Game 1 go to extra innings in the World Series in consecutive years.
Yeah.
Because last year went to extra innings as well.
Houston and Philly, that's right. Again, you can't write this script up. People just wouldn't believe it.
We've talked so much about the Diamondbacks connections in this series to the 2001 year, but again, there's something, there's something different about this year, and there is something, as much as we want to flush last night's loss and move on, there's something to build on there. There was a mistake made. You could have asked for better performances. You could demand a little bit more from Zach Gallen. You could have definitely asked more of Paul Sewald there in the ninth. You absolutely could have asked for the pitching staff to limit the amount of walks that they gave up. But the Diamondbacks were so close to taking that game. And had they taken that game, I mean, obviously it just changes the complexion of this entire series. But I still feel like they have a chance to do that tonight. If they take Game 2 and can come back here, even with the Texas Rangers for 3 games at Chase Field, that completely flips this series. That's how fast things can change from some of the doom and gloom we saw last night.
And we know that Chase Field is, again, it's not quite the same fortress that Citizens Bank Park is, but the Diamondbacks still have a a 16-9 record all time at Chase Field. So they do have that momentum. So as you said, yeah, winning tonight kind of flips that home field advantage because you win the next 3, you do it all at home entirely, and you don't have to go back out on the road in Arlington. But if they do have to go back out on the road again, look, it just doesn't matter. Baseball is wonderful in that way where there almost aren't home field advantages. We think that, right? You get to bat last in the inning, et cetera, et cetera. You got your fans, but look, it's baseball where even if you fail 7 out of 10 times, you are considered an all-time great. It's just failing a little bit less. It's the game of inches.
Yeah.
It's the best sport in the world.
I know it really is.
I'm not biased.
Not at all. Not at all. I mean, I feel the same way. At times I'm so overwhelmed with emotions when it comes to this team and how far they've made it, because we live in the reality of us having to do this show day in and day out, cover all of these games, and just kind of live in the moment. But I just cannot believe still that we are here playing in the World Series. And I know we need to, I know I need to get over that, but it's hard to. Like, this is our team. These are our baby backs that we honestly were being very patient with. Did not have this high of expectations for. Merely wanted them to, have a plus 500 season. Merely wanted them to maybe sniff the playoffs a little bit, maybe get close to the playoffs, maybe get in the playoffs, and then the expectations just kind of went like this throughout the season, especially when they won so much early on. People started talking about winning the NL West. People started talking about getting to the playoffs. And then it was the end of the world by the end of July. And now, look at this. What a roller coaster ride we've been on with this team this entire time. It's just been incredible. But of course, they have a chance tonight still.
They do.
To really change this series and turn things around. And they can do that with our guy, Merrill Kelly, on the mound. But before we get to that, I wanted to give a quick shout out to one of our favorite fans here of the PHNX Diamondbacks show, our guy Nick Sutphin, wishing Nick a very happy birthday. And I wanted to just give you guys a little glimpse. We tweeted this out, but Nick, from his brothers and friends who got together, got him this cake, which he thought was going to be the present.
Wow.
And then the other thing here that they got him was a ticket to Game 3 of the World Series. So good luck outdoing that anybody that knows Nick Sutphin for pretty much the rest of his life. That bar is set pretty high for him to get a chance to come see his favorite team play in the World Series. Nick's a solid dude. He dyed his hair in purple in solidarity with me during the Lourdes Gurriel days. He also is an incredible artist. And I know some of you remember that he sent us some hand-drawn baseball cards that he does that are just absolutely incredible. So big shout out to Nick. Happy birthday to you. And we look forward to seeing you here in Phoenix. Got a beer on me for your birthday when you get here. But
I love hand-drawn baseball cards. Yeah. They're one of my favorite kind of baseball cards that are hand-drawn. Of all the hand-drawn baseball cards are my favorite. Nick, happy birthday. Hand-drawn baseball cards, Nick.
Are you did I say it a lot?
What? No, I'm just saying that I personally do.
Is he teasing me?
What's his problem?
I'm trying to get Nick to do one for me.
No.
Don't you see what I'm putting down?
Absolutely
Bro,
not.
Come on.
Nick, don't do anything for this man. He's an absolute monster. But
look, some of the reason why I think it's such a surprise, like you said, like it's like shocking is, sure, during the season, they're not even gonna make the postseason.
Yeah.
That's okay. Let me think about the future. And then they back their way in and you go, all right, cool. Like let's have some fun. Then they're down in Milwaukee and they come back, and everyone listening to the show, I think, knows all the details of that. And it really was like, oh man, this team of these 23-year-olds, these rookies, Brandon Pfaadt, 25, man, the future is so bright.
Yeah.
The future's right now.
It's here.
We're in it.
Yeah.
They need to tell us it's the good old days.
Yeah. Remember,
when you're in it.
Why don't
Bernard.
they tell you? Yeah. Why don't they tell you you're in the good old days?
Like, we're in it right now. And it's like, no one even thought that was going to be the case now. And now it's like, forget the future.
Yeah.
Like there's obviously no way to mortgage the future.
Right.
But if this was, in the middle of a season, you'd be like, trade all the prospects, go all in. There's nothing that can even happen. Now, there could be some players right now that are like, I'm going to mortgage my own future and I'm going to go out there and pitch. Even though I might have a little elbow issue, I can kind of work through it. And if I need Tommy John in the offseason, we'll deal with that then, because you don't get an opportunity like this very often, and you have to seize that day. And the Diamondbacks are absolutely doing that, much to the enjoyment of everyone here in the Valley.
I believe it was Jake Mintz, by the way, has an incredible article about Kevin Ginkel that I read today. The guy, our buddy from Cespedes Family Barbecue.
He's great.
And it was about just Kevin being like just this such a down to earth guy when it comes to like, being this professional baseball player, especially now. Kind of, I mean, we've loved Kevin Ginkel all year. We've absolutely loved this man, but I mean, now America's getting a chance to see him. America's getting a chance to feel that energy. And yeah, it's just really funny to see that, like just that he lives in a real humble apartment and like talking about the car he drives. And apparently he's a big fan of just like Frank and beans all the time. He had to be convinced that he has to eat other food and such. So fun article to check out for sure. But
That's
of
cool.
course, we know that the Diamondbacks would not be here without that bullpen, but they definitely wouldn't be here without our guy Merrill Kelly. So let's talk a bit about Merrill and the pitching matchup tonight with Jordan Montgomery, because, of course, both of these guys are incredible. It's infuriating that the Rangers were able to get Jordan Montgomery. Yeah, I mean, I know he was definitely on our radar at one point, but Merrill has just been that dude, right? Like during the playoffs, again, even though him and Zach have not been at their best at times, Merrill just this entire season was the guy that was able to come in at any point where you felt like there was a panic for this team and just deliver a solid start and help them just get back to their winning ways and get things back on track.
Yeah, each time there was like a little losing streak, it always seems like he's the guy that's coming up and you go, okay, good. Like that's a positive thing. 2-1 this postseason with a 2.65 ERA, 19 strikeouts, and a 1 whip. Opponents are only hitting 183 against him. He has given up 3 home runs. That was in that last Philly his first Philly start.
Yeah.
He has made 1 start against Texas in his career, but it was back in 2020. Nobody on that roster is still on this Rangers team, so that's kind of moot. But what's interesting is he made that start during that pandemic season. Right? That was his first start of the year. Merrill Kelly pitched in the 4th ever game at Globe Life Field, and now here he is pitching in the third to last potentially World Series game at Globe Life Field.
The deep-seated roots and connections is just amazing between these two teams. We talked about, Torey Lovullo managing his first game against Bruce Bochy and getting that walk-off win against Mark Melancon. And of course, we have a comparison graphic here in regards to Merrill Kelly and Jordan Montgomery. I mean, these are their regular season numbers, but as you can see, Montgomery was very, very good this season. As with Merrill Kelly, this is a marquee matchup right here of two guys that not a lot of people that aren't big baseball fans know, which is why the World Series is so great. When people complain about this shit, when they complain that these teams aren't big enough, this is why these guys deserve their flowers. They should, based on their numbers this season, be pitching on a stage this big, and it's going to be exciting to watch these two duel it out tonight.
So even, such a level matchup. And Montgomery has had similar success so far this postseason, 3-0, 2.16 ERA. Opponents actually hitting a lot better against him than against Merrill Kelly, 2.72. And the interesting thing is, with a win tonight, should Jordan Montgomery get it, or even get it at some point in this series, Montgomery and Eovaldi would join Randy Johnson and Curt Schilling in 2001 and Clayton Kershaw and Julio Urias, who cares about them, as the third pair of teammates in MLB history to record 4 or more wins in a single postseason. So we're talking about Eovaldi and Montgomery doing things like Schilling and Johnson. But
don't like that one bit.
You hope that the poor
keep that stat to yourself next time, Patrick.
The poor man's Schilling and Johnson, which would be Zach Gallen and Merrill Kelly. You want them to get 4. And maybe they still will.
Maybe they still will. Maybe Brandon Pfaadt is part of that 2-man rotation that you're talking. Maybe it's Merrill Kelly and Brandon Pfaadt. Let's throw that graphic up there again, because as you noted, during the regular season, these numbers, oh my God, so close. 3.29 ERA for Merrill Kelly, 3.20 ERA for Montgomery. You had the whips that are identical at 1.19, 187 strikeouts for Kelly, 166 strikeouts for Montgomery. So, yeah, this is like a push when you ask for a pitching advantage here. Really what it's going to come down to, I think, is how long can Merrill Kelly go? How efficient can he be? Are we going to get Merrill that we've seen at times last, maybe not go 9 innings, but look like he can, based on, how he can keep his pitch count low. He is very good at doing that at times. And if there was ever a time the Diamondbacks needed that, it would be now. We know that that bullpen game is coming up here in 2 games, and they need to do everything they can. They do have a day off in between then and now tomorrow, so that definitely helps. But should they need to call on their bullpen as much as they had to call on it yesterday, things don't look great for this team heading into that game 4.
Rangers have not seen Merrill Kelly very much. The most plate appearances anyone on the roster has is Austin Hedges, and he's coming off the bench. No one has more than a hit against Kelly. Only Robbie Grossman has even an extra base hit. Another guy who's starting the game on the bench. But the Diamondbacks, they do have guys who have seen Merrill Kelly a bunch. He had made 2 starts against the D-backs, one that was not very good in April when he was with St. Louis, and then one that was great, 8 shutout innings back on August 21st. But Gabby Moreno in his career, 4 for 7 with a double homer, 4 RBI. You like that? Ketel Marte, 3 for 6 against Montgomery, and then Lourdes Gurriel and Evan Longoria combined 9 for 32. So, just under 300 there. So a lot of experience, a lot of looks on Jordan Montgomery. That's going to help with the offense, which, I don't know who maybe needs the boost more. Is it the offense? Is it the bullpen necessarily?
I think the offense did a good job last night. We asked them to start stealing bases more, creating that chaos. They were able to generate 5 runs, which again, you theoretically, in the grand scheme of things,
more, but that's good.
That should be enough to win a baseball game, right? And at times, what we've seen as the starting pitching staff and the bullpen can combine together. And last night, they just weren't enough. Zach Gallen wasn't tight enough to keep it a low enough scoring game. And obviously, we know what happened with Sewald there. And it's unfortunate because it does feel like we're picking on the bullpen as a whole, where those guys did their job last night. Sewald just had one bad pitch, and against a guy that's really good at hitting, high fastballs. And like you said, the location wasn't even off. You just got to tip your cap to Seager on what he was able to do there, right? But I mean,
and Seager, look, he is big in those spots. He already has a World Series MVP under his belt. In fact, that's his 10th home run in the postseason at Globe Life Field. A lot of that because during the pandemic year of 2020, that was the World Series site. It was just a neutral site. So for him, with the 10 home runs at Globe Life Field, tied for 5th most of any player in one ballpark in a postseason. So he's used to that. That's his stomping grounds each and every way.
Shout out to our chat. Elizabeth says we're due for a blowout W. We got Nicholas who said if Merrill can go 6 tonight, that would be so big. We need to. We also need to crush them so that we don't have to utilize our high leverage guys again. That's another great point. If we could maybe see, Miguel Castro again and Luis Frias and stuff go out there instead of having to use Ginkel or even Sewald, that would be great. Connor says, here's hoping a lefty can wake up Christian Walker's bat. Please, God. Ooh. Please, baby.
Good
Please,
take,
baby,
Connor.
God. We don't win this World Series without contributions from Sewalk at the plate. That's such a great point. Of course, without Christian Walker, this team isn't as dangerous, but they're still a dangerous team. So make sure to pick up the t-shirt of a fucking dangerous team, and you can get that over at the PHNXlocker.com. I get to say that word for free. That's the one freebie that I get for the show. So I'm going to use it. I'm not going to miss out on it. But make sure to pick up on this shirt because it's incredible. I still love this design. This was a brainchild of mine and our guy Eric, and even though I knew what it was going to look like, it was still prettier in person. Yeah,
it pops.
I love the teal.
Man.
I love the teal
it's
and the red
really
together.
Good. It's really good.
So get that. Of course, if you're a diehard, you'll get 20% off your t-shirt purchase. If you are not a diehard and you want to become one, you will get that shirt for free as part of your welcome package. You also get 20% off all future purchases. You get access to wonderful discounts with our partners. You also get Jesse's monthly newsletter for diehards only. You also get to access our Discord lounge, which is the best place to be an Arizona sports fan. Exclusive merchandise, exclusive event invites, and so much more. So join us today. I promise you, the thing pays for itself. It pays for itself out of the gate. But of course, we thank you guys, whether you're diehard or not, for being here in the PHNX Sports YouTube channel right now. We are so excited to get around to Game 2 here and watch Merrill Kelly on the bump. But of course, we thank you for being here right now. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. Sign up for notifications. That way you don't miss when any of our wonderful shows go live. And please leave us a thumbs up. It's our attaboy. It's what Gabby would want you to do. Don't forget, Gabby loves you if you leave a like. And of course, if you're listening on the audio side, leave us a review. 5 stars, preferably, not scolding me for being too drunk after the show. That would be nice. But I understand. I got thick skin. I can take it. But anyway, leave us a review. Make sure you subscribe on that side as well. Of course, one of our big questions tonight is how this Diamondbacks bullpen is going to respond after last night. Again, collectively, it's weird. When you're the part of the bullpen, you're just the whole ass bullpen. So if you are the cog that worked, you're still just thrown in with the rest of it, right? So Paul Sewald took this one, and he tipped his cap to Corey Seager. I mean, the man was 0 for 8 against him in his career. You wouldn't, statistically, you couldn't imagine a better matchup for Sewald out there. So it's not really like anybody did anything wrong other than Seager just hit the crap out of a ball that he kind of, I guess, left a little down from where he was trying to get it to, right? But aside from that, sometimes hitters hit, and that's what this is about.
And Justin pointing out in the chat, I mean, chat just really on point right now on the PHNX Sports channel on YouTube, saying, well, there's a couple bad pitches there to Leody Taveras. And
That's
okay,
that's the
true.
really
maybe
egregious
not all four,
thing.
but still,
that,
you don't.
No, he's right though. That's the egregious thing.
Yeah.
Really, walking him is the egregious thing here. Way almost more so than the home run. Because
Corey Seager's going to hit a home run.
Corey Seager's going to do something. He's going to hit a double. Yes. He's going to hit something, right? So it's like you would have loved to see it limited to only a double with the way that he was able to get out of the inning. But my God, there's another thing that you could consider here too, which is if the ghost runner rule was still in effect, the Diamondbacks would have lost last night's game prior, or I guess after that. But I mean, in extra innings prior to when they did lose anyway. So it doesn't like all sorts of things. But really, when it comes down to it, is you're right. I mean, that was a bad pitch. There were the bad pitches. To walk the ninth hitter that had no business being on base. But again, I have no idea why I'm seeing this so optimistically. And again, I hate what this did for the bullpen, both in in the fatigue factor for the bullpen and what it does to someone like Paul Sewald's confidence. Like he was rolling, right? I mean, he said after the game that he has to have a short memory, just like we talked about earlier on.
He does.
But yeah, I know, but can you? I often say fantasy football victories don't bother me here in the office, but then I lose sleep at night thinking about losing to Johnny Venerable. I'm his only win in the fantasy league this year. I gave him his only win.
But there's a difference between losing to Johnny Venerable and losing to Corey Seager. No offense to Johnny, like great guy, good guy.
He's right.
We know what I'm saying. Like,
he's right.
That's kind of what it comes down to.
Yeah.
And that's what it's going to come down to.
I would much rather have lost to Corey Seager in fantasy football.
And I think you're more positive too, because I mean, think about where the Diamondbacks were. Think about where the show was after game 2, losing 10-0 to the Phillies, and you go, yeah, no, these Phillies, they're a powerhouse. They are a monster, and sure, it's shifting back to Chase Field, but there is zero momentum for the Diamondbacks. And the Rangers, they eked one out. Again, Sewald doesn't give up that home run to Corey Seager. This doesn't happen. So we're talking, literal pitches of difference. And so, yes, the Rangers beat the Diamondbacks. Were they better? You could make the case maybe they weren't. I think they were. Look, they came out ahead there in general. They eked it out in the end when it mattered. But it wasn't this thing of like, man, do the Diamondbacks belong here? Like we're done asking that question, right? And the Diamondbacks, I think, are done answering it as well. Torrey did it well enough and showed all the receipts. And now I think people in the media that are more national, that haven't been watching this postseason, are kind of done asking that question.
They learn not to goddamn, bet their retirement on this team winning and losing. I know that for a fact.
Yeah.
Fuck around and find out. That's as they say, right? And someone did. So I don't know. I feel like that's just an idiom I was using. So I think I should get away with that one as well. But again, the bullpen, it's going to be interesting to see how they respond tonight, especially like Sewald said. They are going to Sewald again tonight. You said, Corey, so that, and they should, right?
Unless they don't have to. There's like almost no way that they're not going to have to, right?
That would be nice.
That would be insane.
Why not us?
Close it out with Luis Frias.
Why not us?
There's like there's the blowout option. There's the Merrill Kelly going 9. The other thing is you could go, maybe Kevin Ginkel gets the final 3, but not after throwing 28 pitches yesterday. So that scenario is kind of not out there either, right?
I'm big on the blowout.
Half of a blowout, half of like 7 innings of Merrill Kelly.
Look, the Diamondbacks are used to dealing with some big sluggers in the lineup, and I think that they learned after a while how to approach guys like Schwarber and Harper and not let the rest of the lineup hurt you. Even with Trey Turner hitting damn near 500. I think that they'll figure it out, put a game plan together, and understand you can't mess with these guys. These guys aren't to be trifled with, if you will. So you got to do what you got to do to get around them and let the other guys beat you. I think that's going to be huge for this team tonight. And I think Merrill Kelly is smart enough to do that. And I think Paul Sewald learned his lesson last night. So it's going to be interesting to see how things go. But you know what? I do not relent on my betting, even though last night's absolutely did hit and would have made you thousands of dollars if you bet like $50 on it. Let's go ahead and look at another one because we're doing this again. Derek's 5-legger. Result, Rangers win. Total runs, I'm taking under 9.5 with these two pitchers on the mound. I think this one's going to be a low-scoring affair. I'm taking Corey Seager putting the bad juju on him tonight with the home run. Didn't work on Garcia. That man is entirely too powerful. Can't put any magical spells on that man. But I went with player batter struck out for Jordan Montgomery, 2+. And I got here player hits Ketel Marte to extend that hitting streak to a historic level, which I probably shouldn't even be talking about right now. But if he does get a hit tonight, that will be 18 games consecutively that man has had a hit in the postseason. And he would be the first person in MLB history to do that.
Hedge those bets.
Hedge those bets. Why not? Get down on emotional. I am Sonic the Hedgehog.
Did you? I blacked out for half a second. Did you say that if you got a homer? Oh yeah, if you got a homer, 6 consecutive, and it would be a homer in 6 consecutive games.
Oh yeah.
That would tie Daniel Murphy's record with the Mets in 2015.
No, I don't want that to happen.
He would also, that would give him RBI in 8 consecutive games, which ties Ryan Howard's record back in 2009.
I probably should have cursed him, is what you're saying.
Yeah, maybe.
It didn't work last night.
Got to hedge those bets.
But of course, we got a baseball game to watch, you guys. So
and it's a Diamondbacks baseball game.
In the goddamn
and it's a World Series baseball game.
Give me more.
We did not go into a time machine and travel back to 2001. It's still present day 2023.
If we did, I would have made so much money on the stock market. Like, straight up.
No, you wouldn't have.
Why?
I'm calling you out.
Oh, why?
What stocks would you know anything about stocks?
No, I really don't.
So don't.
Maybe Sports Almanac.
Okay,
type
there
betting.
you go,
Okay,
Biff.
all right, Sports
if you
Almanac.
biff it out a little bit.
I can definitely get the over/under on some of the season totals right. That's for sure. But anyway,
that's the move.
Yeah,
sports gambling.
Yeah,
everything I own.
Also invest in Apple. I mean, there's a couple things. Sell all your America Online stock back in 2001.
There is a scary alternative timeline in which I won a lot of money sports gambling because I went back in time, and that's not
Gila River wouldn't exist.
You don't want to live in that time.
It would be Montilla River. It would be Montilla River. Would that be the name of your casino?
Something like that. Okay. It'd be good. But anyway, we're gonna go watch some baseball. You should too. Make sure to join us back here. I keep saying 10 minutes, but it's more like 15 minutes after the final out. So make sure to join us tonight. We will be back here. In the meantime, you can follow us on Twitter. I'm at Cap_Caveman with a K. This maniac is at Patrick D. Lyons. Of course, our people's producer is Damon. We are Damon's dogs. Woof, woof. He is at Damon Dog. That's DAWG. Of course, our show is at PHNX_DBacks, and all roads do lead to at PHNX_sports on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. What do we have here from Beezy? Oh, Beez is here? Okay. Bullpen should adjust accordingly. Beez is here. Let's go. We're ready to go. Wow. All right. Well, I'm excited.
We're not reading all the comments.
I know the comments.
The comments were really good earlier.
I was like, everything's going good, and then someone had to get crazy. But anyway, we love you guys no matter how crazy you want to get with your comments. So, but we appreciate you. We'll be back here, of course, like I said, 15 minutes after the final out. Thank you guys for your time right now. Go Snakes. Snakes are alive. Snakes alive. Excuse me. I screwed that catchphrase up. We are a goddamn wagon, and let's go win us a baseball game. Again, we thank you for your time. Remember, kids, baseball is fun, but it's so much more fun when Merrill Kelly is on the mound in a big World Series game.
We all silly like the mayor.